This is Astana Protein.
No somos solo un equipo, sino una gran familia.
I'm Vino. Behind me it's Martino. Hi, ciao, Salem and hola. Our shirts are in the blue color. We are the only team who wear blue.
Welcome back to the Canadian Cycling Magazine podcast. It's the first episode of 2019, and we were played in there by what's sure to be a hip-hop classic, the Astana rap, the continuing Vinokurov vanity project now has him dropping rhymes.
I feel like he just cajoled the whole team into doing this, mostly by threat. You know,
That's different.
You want a job? You are going to be in my rap video.
You do a rap video or you don't race a bike, yes?
I think that's not far off from what happened.
Yeah. Of course, Astana has Canadian Hugo Uhl on the team. I think he's returning for his second year. And the road season is in the midst of going on.
Yeah, we got the what I like to call the spring training of the road cycling season at Tour Down Under.
Which we'll talk about in a minute. But also in this episode, we got some really cool stuff. There is a rider who is going to be doing something bonkers to raise money for a small velodrome here in Ontario. He's going to ride on it for 24 hours.
Small really doesn't do it justice.
No. We get into the details of just how tight that little velodrome is. What else we got?
Oh, it is the return of Full Send No Send. After weeks away, we are bringing the fire back to the audience.
That's right.
This is what you've been missing over the New Year's break. We come in hot with a Full Send No Send.
Yep. And we are also going to look back to the Christmas Cross project. It's a really cool initiative by Cycling Canada that brings Canadian athletes to muddy Belgium over the Christmas period to race some pretty big races. And some athletes have sent us their dispatches from their time away.
Yeah, it's a cool project. And for those of you who don't know, cyclocross isn't an Olympic discipline, so it's largely self-funded by the athletes and scraped together with some fundraising from local races like Paris to Ancaster. Mm-hmm. So it's an interesting kind of ragtag group, and Cycling Canada volunteers who go over and help out the riders who are looking to get Euro experience.
Yeah, so we'll hear from some of those riders. Let's get into it. The Forest City Velodrome has a small 138-meter track. It's in an old hockey arena in London, Ontario. Its banks are a steep 51 degrees. For 13 years, it's been getting riders in southern Ontario, many of them young riders, some serious track riding skills. But today, the place needs some help. The building that houses the track is more than 60 years old. It's definitely showing some age and needs some updates, like modern LED lighting and a new heating system. To raise money for these upgrades, the Forest City Velodrome is having a fundraiser that will feature rider Ed Viel taking to the boards for 24 hours. That's 24 hours on a 138-meter track, just turning left. I spoke with Viel about what he's getting himself into when he rides on February 2nd. Ed Viel, welcome to the Canadian Cycling Magazine podcast. Okay, what exactly are you planning to do on February 2nd?
Well, I'm going to try and stay on the track for as long as I can. So Forest City Velodrome is a wonderful facility, London, that's kind of gotten forgotten about now that we have this world-class facility here in Milton. So the original indoor velodrome here in Ontario, we're going to put on an event that would, kind of draw attention to them and hopefully help fund everything they're trying to do there.
Yeah, now this velodrome is about 13 years old, and tell us a bit about the track itself and maybe the building that it's in.
Well, the building was, I don't know the dates. I think it was built in the 60s for, an OHL team. The London Knights played there for years. And then I guess
that's right.
They moved to another facility. They built this tiny little velodrome in there. It's 138 meters, and it's got these crazy banked walls, 51 degrees, and it's incredible. Like you get in there and you almost look at it and you're like, how does anyone even ride this? Like how do you stay on the wall? Like how do you not slide down? So it's very unique. To my knowledge, I believe it's the smallest velodrome in North America. I could even be the smallest velodrome in the world. So.
Yeah, I've heard similar things. I think there's a velodrome in the UK that's contesting the idea that it's the smallest permanent velodrome, but I think I don't know. It's definitely tight. Those 138 meters are tight because they're in the hockey rink there, and
Right,
just
yeah.
to contrast that, and you're very familiar with the Milton Velodrome, which is about 150 kilometers east of London, Ontario. And
Yes.
you're very familiar with Milton because you've ridden there for the Pan Am Games. You won bronze there in team pursuit, and you have the hour record, the Canadian hour record for 40 to 44. But anyway, in Milton, you have 250 meters and 42 degree banks, and so I don't know. Tell me just how that feels. The difference between riding on this UCI approved one in Milton versus this little one in London.
I definitely love the track in Milton and how smooth and how beautifully built it is. Wide, perfect. The way the track, the exchanges from the corner to the straightaways. I can go on and on. Forest City, a little bit different. So the idea get a velodrome in the space of the hockey arena. They had to condense it, so everything's exaggerated. Actually, feel your face. Like your head and your neck kind of compress, and I even feel like my cheeks. Like you can feel everything just kind of like pull, and then you come out of the corner and you're free from it, and then immediately you're into the next corner, and then there's this G-force hit you again. So it's not for anyone that's learning. Yeah, if you can ride at Forest City, the skills that you get and the abilities that you take from there, it's incredible.
So you're going to ride on this track for 24 hours, or how do you think those 24 hours will go?
Well, I mean, it doesn't become biking after a while. It's I would say if anyone just were to say I'm going to stay up for 24 hours, that'd be a challenge. I don't know for anyone who's done it. I think I just got to keep moving, and so I'm going to try and not go out too hard. Just like anything, you got to pace it, and and take little regular breaks. Come off the track, maybe get down on the yoga mats, stretch my back. Obviously, get full of caffeine, have coffee, and then get back out there as soon as you can. It's almost like a NASCAR pit stop. Stay out there for as long as I can. Come in, pit stop, maybe obviously pit stop at the bathroom, whatever, and then get moving again.
Now, how do you think those G forces that you mentioned will affect you? Getting exposed to them for so long, will they add up?
Oh yes, absolutely. I've done some longer rides. I did a 24-hour mountain bike race back in the day, some 8 hours, and recently I've spent quite a bit of time on the trainer, doing some, just kind of working up the time in. It's not my legs that are going to fail. As long as I'm fueled and kind of still interested, my mind can overpower that stuff. But what was really starting to bother me is my hands, the contact points, my hands, my feet, being on the saddle for that length of time. So those are the things that give out way before my my cardio or my fitness. So I think as long as I can stay fueled and, like I said, full of caffeine, I can keep moving. But that's why I got to get off the bike and stretch, because all it takes is a bad case of hot foot, and if you've ever had that, the track bike, good luck.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of gearing are you going to have on this bike?
Well, we're going to probably, I have to have a couple different setups. So I'm going to have a little bit of a support crew there. I'm going to have a few different bikes on the go. I'll have like a bunch bars. I'll have one with aero bars. I'm actually headed in there to do a little pre-ride and practice. So, then I'll have a better idea. The idea is I need to target somewhere, I have to be over 30 kilometers an hour. I mean, somewhere around 32, 33. So, I really just got to feel what's comfortable, holding that speed. And then go.
And will it just be you on the track?
No. See, this is what's actually going to be very cool. It's the track's going to be open. So we're going to have, people can join. If there's people that want to try to go for the 24-hour record right along with me, then they're more than welcome to try. So I would call it assisted. So when you have that amount of people on the track, whether it's 20, then the swirl or even the drafting, being out there, it does change it. So it's not this isn't going in the Guinness Book of World Records. This isn't a 24-hour UCI record. This is like a distance challenge. We can set a track record, so you can travel the longest of 4 cities, and then say, maybe possibly challenge a Canadian record, say what's the farthest distance anyone's traveled in. But it's very much assisted. Yeah, it's assisted.
On the idea of Canadian records, like or Canadian accomplishments, I'm just thinking of, say, Corey Wallace, the mountain biker who has 2 24-hour mountain bike world championships. And as of last fall, also Megan Hakkinen, who got the 24-hour world time trial championship in her age group, 30 to 39. What is it with Canadians and riding for 24 hours? Like, what's going on there?
It's funny. I did see that in the Canadian Cycling Magazine post, and I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. Hers actually came up in search when I was looking for how far she traveled, and that came up. And when I read the article, I couldn't believe the one thing that stood out. The distance is incredible, and the average speed, and just staying on a bike for 24 hours. But in the article, it says she took less than 30 minutes of break in the entire ride. So I was just like, how? Like that to me, So I would actually be interested in reaching out to her and say, how did you pull that off? Like, how did you stay on the bike, for that length of time? But yeah, as far as it being a Canadian thing, I know, it was introduced to me when I first started mountain biking. Chico Racing put on the summer solstice and hot August nights, and even before that, 24 Hours Adrenaline was actually my first 24-hour event. So, I mean, locally, especially here in Ontario, I got a bike. I started playing in the forest months in of my first introduction to biking, and then there I am doing a relay on a 24-hour. So I'm not sure if it's a Canadian thing, but definitely in Ontario, it's very popular.
How can others get involved with this event?
Oh, well, the Forest City Velodrome, you can go to that website. All the details of the event are there. You can support it through a GoFundMe. We show up the day of, and there's registration. So whether you want to pack it, come ride for an hour, or a couple hours, or half the day, or even try and stay out there the entire time with me. So it's all available on the website.
Right on. Yeah, we'll put those links in the show notes so people can either help with the fundraising or figure out where to sign up and possibly join you on the track.
I appreciate it. One thing that is common with this is that our cycling community is really small, and so going to the well for funding and asking for help to the same people over and over again. This is where we're going to run up against a brick wall, but with this podcast or some other outreach, what I would ask the listeners is that if this somehow can get out to the general public, you don't have to be a cyclist to understand what Forest City does and youth development, and that's really what we're trying to keep going here is keep kids out of trouble, let them play a bit, have a great coaching, all the help, just kind of like getting this outside of our cycling community would be really appreciated.
Yes, for sure. It is. It's a great event. It's a great facility. The fundraising is to help with the replace the old lighting system in there, and been told is a very, very old boiler that heats the place. And it's a good cause, and we're gonna get the message out, and we hope you have some good success there in February.
Yeah. Well, success is. Thank you.
Right on. Well, thanks, Ed, and. We'll get in touch maybe after the event and see how it went.
Okay, I'd love that.
Ed Veal holds the Canadian hour record in the 40 to 44 age category. To learn more and to contribute to the Forest City Velodrome fundraiser, visit forestcityvelodrome.ca.
2, 1, go.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. It's time for full send, no send. Matthew, contain yourself.
I'm so excited. It's been weeks.
First item on the docket.
Yeah, what do we got to cover?
The new
today?
EF Pro Cycling kits.
Yes, the visually easy on the eyes, pink and blue, nicely blended together.
I think it's more of a purple.
Okay.
So describe to the people what you're seeing.
What I'm seeing now is a lava lamp of a jersey with, I guess there's a lot of pink or purple on the top. No, that's pink.
That's pink on the top.
It's pink on the top, and down below it's bluey purple.
I like the lava lamp comparison.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
I think that's where we're going with this. And do we full send or no send on that for you, bud?
That is a full send. In the sea of red and black kits in the Peloton this year, this wins for me. You're going to be able to pick that out, no problem, from the helicopter shots. But for real, that's an issue. That's a thing.
Okay, but what about a helicopter shot at the Giro d'Italia? Is this going to prove to be a bit confusing?
Maybe they have to reverse the colors for the Giro.
Let the lava lamp drip and bob a bit.
Is that something that happens with a lava lamp?
You've never seen a lava lamp? You said it was a good reference. I thought you've at least stared at one in your time.
Familiar with the concept, but I didn't know you could flip them over. And
No. It's a constant shifting of globs. So, okay, you don't flip over your lava lamp.
All right.
Anyway.
Safety advisory to the folks at home.
That's right.
If you're listening to us staring into a lava lamp, don't flip it.
Don't flip it. I'm pretty cool with this design. And I agree with you. Sort of tired of the whatever black, red, blocky colors. And here's my take on this. I think this will be a kit that people will be nostalgic about in 10 years for sure.
It's kind of like how Mappe, whenever someone shows up on a group ride with that now, everyone's like, nice.
Yeah, that's legit, dude. You got like the EF from 2019, bro.
I do appreciate now that their name is EF, Education First Pro Cycling, instead of the Italian Pro Conti thing we're
gonna gain a week this year just by not having to say the whole name.
Which was
EF Education First Dratback, powered by Cannondale. That was 2018's name. Presented by
the PB. I feel like it's you can shapeshift the PB. Presented
by is better than powered by. It's
peanut butter, maybe
peanut butter.
It's like the Phil Guyman cookie variation.
Right. Okay.
All right. On to the
what's next.
All right. So, kit reveals all happen, leading up to the Tour Down Under. Tour Down Under and racing in January in general. Full send, no send. You into this?
Yeah, and by racing, you mean January road racing, because it's still cyclocross season.
Yep.
And we're still keen on that, yes? Yes, we're keen.
We're keen. You know what? I almost feel like the hype in the cross happens so much in the fall that now I'm like, road racing, new, exciting.
Oh, really? Well, because cross does kind of start in August. In a way, you see people with their crosses coming hashtags, and here in Canada we're training for cross season in August because it usually hits the ground running mid-September. But road season, maybe. I'm kind of into it. It's a little taster. It's a little like, oh yeah, here we go.
Boosh
I didn't want to say that. I'd actually thought of that. Because French can sound pompous. Yeah. But no, Peloton. But I do like that idea. And yeah, it gets me a bit interested. Oh, and so sure.
Okay. You know what? I think this is akin to like the spring training of road cycling.
So instead of the Cactus League?
Instead of the Cactus League or the Grapefruit League, you get the Tour Down Under. Everyone's excited. Everyone's hopeful for the season. Everyone's record is 0-0 right now. Even if, spring training doesn't go well, you still have opening day. Let's call opening day Milan-San Remo.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is the spring training.
Okay.
I'm a full send. On to the next.
I'm a medium send? We can't really do that.
No,
okay, full send.
Full send.
Commit.
All right.
Oh my gosh, we have 38 seconds.
When is it too cold to go ride?
-10.
That's it?
That's it. That's my general cutoff. You?
The feels like, and I'm a believer in feels like.
Yes, feels like -10.
Has to be below -15.
Whoa, you're hardcore.
And I can see our producer calling me out right now because I didn't want to go ride on the weekend when it felt like -9. But.
Producer Adam has paused the countdown to interject.
Producer Adam has no mic, but he's giving us sass off mic.
You can shout off from the control booth.
The feels like makes no sense when you're cycling because Like that's the wind chill, and you're creating wind chill when you're riding forward. So the wind chill factor goes out the window when you're riding. So I'm just calling you out on that.
This is bro science, and producer Adam is not a meteorologist, so no saying on his opinion.
Okay.
Minus 15 when it feels like below minus 10 is too cold.
I say if it's minus 10 on the feels like, I'm still not going to do it. However, that's on a road bike. Fat bike, both you and I have been out on fat bikes in minus 30 or minus 20. So it depends on the bike.
Yeah.
And I guess we're out of time.
You know what?
What?
I'm not taking any of Adam's stuff right now.
Oh, because he paused it.
He paused us. We're going on.
Okay.
So fat biking in the trails. I was out in Park Bick in near Rimouski last year. Well, not really near anything really out in Park Bick, but out on the trails, you're really sheltered and you're not moving very fast and you are working really hard.
And you're wearing snow pants.
It was like minus 25 and I was okay.
Yeah, same.
So maybe it's like an urban feels like below minus 15.
I think it's road bike. He's really trying to shut us down.
You know.
Oh, man.
All right. Just the man trying to keep us down.
Producer Adam is still angry you bailed on the group ride.
All right.
All right, full send, no send. Bye. While most of us were kicking back for the holiday season, a group of Canadians was in the mud of Belgium. For the fourth year in a row, the Christmas Cross Camp, an initiative by Cycling Canada, brought athletes to Europe to get some experience racing against the world's best cyclocrossers. Here are impressions from the camp from some of its participants. They include national champions Michael Vandenham and Ruby West, as well as Jen Jackson, who raced cross in Europe for the first time.
Merry Christmas from Belgium. It's the 25th and we got back from pre-riding Zolder about an hour ago. Always a little weird to be riding on Christmas Day, but it's just sort of part of the job, I guess. I think there are lots of the big guns who aren't out there today and spending it with their family, but for us, when we're sort of out here to do a job or to gain experience, and that involves riding your bike. So it's actually pretty fun. We're sort of taking a little bit of a break from all that serious training stuff and having a nice Christmas dinner tonight, little gift exchange. Try to make it feel a little bit more like home, but I'm probably speaking for everyone when I'm saying, everyone here is thinking about, I could be home with family today. I think the Christmas period or the Christmas day of it is one of the toughest ones to be gone.
Hey, this is Jen Jackson talking about the Zolder World Cup on Boxing Day here in Belgium. This track, it's a lot of hard accelerations out of corners, but almost always uphill. You're almost always accelerating up out of a corner. So in terms of from a racing perspective, you didn't really benefit that much from slingshotting out of corners because you were climbing out of it. So a lot of pack racing. It's a much higher speed track, especially because it was dry, frozen track for us for the race. And the sand actually became quite firm compared to when we were pre-riding. It was a lot looser, but on race day it was pretty hard, and the ruts were actually pretty rough. But it was nice because there wasn't a lot of sliding around in the sand. You could just send it down the steeper chutes without too much trouble.
Hey there, it's Ruby West, and I'm in Belgium right now at the Cycling Canada base in Tilt. We are getting ready for day 4 or 5 of the Christmas Cross Camp. It's Friday, the 28th of December, I guess, and we're getting ready for Lewin Out today. That's a DVV race, and we've got 2 more races ahead of us after this one, and we've already had our 2 World Cups. We had Namur first, which was epically muddy and insane. A crazy welcome to Belgian racing for the year. And then Zolder 2 days later, which was 2 days ago now. That was on Boxing Day, and that was a super fast, dry race, kind of more like a North American course. So that felt a little more familiar and was a really good chance to race 2 polar opposite courses in conditions, see where we stacked up. It was really cool to race those races and just get back into racing with such deep fields. We've had almost 90 starters in each of the World Cups, which is a lot of people. So it was really cool to experience that and just be part of the racing in Belgium. It's an iconic week of racing this Christmas period, so it's really cool to be in it for once, not just watching it at home.
All right, so we're here after Lonout. That's the one, if you don't remember, that has all the ditches to hop and then all like the little BMX whoops throughout the course. Really good race for me, actually. I had a bit of a rough start, kind of got pinched off to the right-hand side when everyone swung out, but moved up throughout the race and finished up in 24th, which, in my opinion anyways, is probably my best Euro race, I would say, to date. I've had some better numerical results, but this one, with the depth of the field and the quality of the riders, felt really good. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. Back at it tomorrow with Bradna. It's just going to be me out there. It's kind of a solo mission. I'm taking one of the mechanics, Reg and Rob with me, and yeah, racing that one basically because they offered me a start contract, but it's a great race. I've done that one before as well, so I'm looking forward to that. And then after that, we have one more in Diegem, so that's 3 in a row for me, and then I'm off home.
For the ball, Svenny's GP, our last race here in Belgium. I head home after this along with a couple others, but most of the Canadian team is actually heading to Girona for a kind of intermediate training camp between Christmas Cross and then Hoogerheide and World Champs at the end of January. So I was really excited to cap off my trip with my best result yet. I think it was my best race too. It's always hard to gauge the difference between how you raced event to event when the fields are always changing. This one was a little bit smaller, but the top 10, except for me maybe, is the same as a lot of top 10s at some of our other races. I was 10th today, and I was really, really excited about that. I didn't even realize I was so close to the front. Well, maybe not close to the front, but near the front of the race until I finished. Actually, there's just so this, I say it was a small one. There's still, I think there's 50 or 60 people in our race, but I just had a good start. Was into the top 20 through the first lap, and I really enjoyed the course here. It was I think of all the courses we did in terms of the terrain and features, this one was definitely the most fun and well-rounded venue. And it was also muddy too, so that was very fitting to finish off the cross season with a good mudder. It wasn't quite as dramatic and muddy as Namur, but this mud was harder to ride. I think it was a little bit thicker than Namur, so it was pretty heavy on some of the climbs. You had to get off and run sections, and then descending down, just making sure you stay loose and knowing that your bike's probably going to keep sliding forwards. You just need to not overhandle the bike, and that's the best way to ride the mud in these conditions. So it all just came together for me. I wasn't sure how my body would respond to racing. It's basically like a cyclocross stage race, racing every other day here, but I've actually felt my legs the same or better actually going through all this. It was nice coming into this block. I'd mostly just been training volume and came over here to get the intensity and the racing in. But with all the hard days here, I think my body's kind of it's adapted for race mode, even though now I'm heading home, and that's the end of my race season for a while. But it was cool, and it was really encouraging to finish off this big racing campaign with a 10th place finish and Belgian C1.
Okay, so that's a wrap on my Christmas cross. I'm actually back in Canada, sitting on my couch, just finished watching the ball DVV. I finished up Diegem. What was that? On the 30th, went back to the base, packed all my stuff up. Fortunately, I'm coming back, so I don't have to pack any bikes, but packed up all my clothes, got on a plane, traveled for 20-something hours, got in late last night, and am back home. Overall, it was a
a really good experience. It always is. It's one of those things where you go to the races like this, and I think as North American riders, we aren't able to perform to the best of our abilities yet, but the more time you spend there, the more time you get used to that style of racing, the more time that you realize how important it is to eliminate those little mistakes, the better and better you get.
It's crazy over there. Every single day during the Christmas period, there's racing and there's huge fields with world champions and just like top level riders at every race you show up to. So it was really cool to be a part of that and get to just race day in and out with those phenomenal riders and on some challenging courses, and it's just another level of racing over there. So it was really cool to be part of that and just to get a chance to race so many times and learn from every race and implement that in the next race and just keep building on each one. And the last few were pretty good for me. Well, Deacon, I had some bike problems, so I got pulled with 2 laps into the race because I had to run the whole lap of the course, so I got caught by the leaders before I made it to the pits. And then, so that was obviously not ideal, but channeling that frustration into Ball was our last race. I had a really successful race there, kind of put everything I'd learned this trip together and rode to 15th, which was my best result over there. Really successful and fun trip, lots of learning, lots of ups and downs, but at the end of the day, really, really happy with how everything went.
Michael Vandenham, Ruby West, and Jen Jackson are elite cyclocross racers who participated in the Christmas Cross Camp. And that's the episode. It was put together by me, Matthew Piaro, Dan Walker over there, who does commute in very cold weather, don't you, Dan?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
It's true. My rule is never below minus 20, though.
With commuting?
With commuting.
Oh, okay. All right.
But when I lived in Montreal, it was minus 30. You just got to adjust for the lake effect.
Also, we had help from Philippe Tremblay. The episode is produced by Adam Killick.
Now, if you want more of what we do, follow us on Instagram at Canadian Cycling, on Twitter at Canadian Cycling as well. On Facebook, it's at Cycling Mag. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, Spotify, something I've been calling Intune, but is really Tune In. I hear that's from Amazon. Don't know who they are.
Small company.
And we always want your full send, no send suggestions, so hit us up at podcast@cyclingmagazine.ca. Maybe if you're lucky, and maybe if you ask nicely, we'll use yours.
No, yeah, please send us your recommendations that we can bat back and forth. And who should people tell about our podcast?
This week, it's your mechanic. When you're taking your bike in early to avoid the rush, ask them to listen to the pod.
Yeah, for sure, because you don't want to be bringing your bike in May just before like a big event saying, please, could you fix this?
So pro tip, you bring in a 6-pack with a little sticky note that says, listen to the Canadian Cycling Magazine podcast.
If it's May, but if it's sooner than that, maybe you don't have to resort to the 6er.
Just a sticky note.
Just a sticky note. For more news and reviews on cycling, you can see cyclingmagazine.ca. And as always, thank you to the Ontario Media Development Corporation for its support. We'll see you next time. No, that's going to get cut.
Adam, I hope that's more work for you.